In 2008, Erin Andrews opened her laptop and found herself naked on the internet. Millions of views, her name in the title, her face, her body, filmed without her knowledge, without her consent, in a hotel room she thought was private. She called the hotel. They said, "We're sorry this happened to you." No investigation, no accountability, no acknowledgement that their own employees had handed her stalker everything he needed. 8 years later, a jury handed her $55 million. This is what happened in between. Erin Andrews was one of the most recognizable sports reporters in America. ESPN sideline reporter, constantly traveling, constantly in hotels. In September 2008, she checked into the Nashville Marriott at Vanderbilt University. Business trip, completely routine. A man named Michael Barrett had been following her for months. Before she even arrived, he called the hotel's front desk and asked whether she was staying there. The staff confirmed it. He asked for her room number. They gave it to him. He then requested the room directly next to hers. The hotel said yes. No verification, no flag, no call to Andrews. Barrett checked in, went to his room, and modified the peephole on Andrews' door with a hacksaw. In a hotel hallway, where staff were walking around, where cameras existed, nobody stopped him. He filmed her while she was changing. Then he posted the video online. By the time Andrews found out, someone sent her a link. It had already spread across dozens of sites. By the time of the trial, 8 years later, it had been viewed over 17 million times. Barrett was caught. He pleaded guilty to stalking, 30 months in prison. The criminal case closed. But that didn't answer the real question. How did he get her room number? How did he stand in that hallway with a hacksaw and nobody said anything? Andrews filed a civil lawsuit against Barrett and against the hotel. The hotel's legal strategy was straightforward: minimize, deflect, and argue that a woman who was still appearing on television couldn't possibly be that damaged. They said Barrett's actions were unforeseeable. They said there was no way to predict he was a threat. And they argued that Andrews' continued professional success, her salary, her endorsements, her visibility, proved she hadn't suffered serious harm. She's still working, still on TV. So how bad could it really be? During the proceedings, something emerged that most coverage glossed over entirely. Barrett admitted in a 2012 deposition that Andrews was not his only victim. He had filmed up to 10 other women at hotels using the exact same method, the same peephole modification, the same approach, and he had learned the technique by watching a hotel employee do it at a different property. This wasn't one man's isolated obsession. This was a known method, one that existed in the industry. And the Nashville Marriott had still handed a stranger the room number of one of their guests without a single question asked. When Andrews testified, she described what her life had looked like since 2008. Checking into hotels and immediately sweeping the room for hidden cameras. Every trip, every time, for years. Being recognized on the street not for her work, but for the video. Her professional identity permanently contaminated by something she never consented to and couldn't undo. I've worked my entire life to get where I am, and now the first thing people find when they Google my name is this. Her father testified too. Watching his daughter go through this, he said, was the hardest thing he'd ever witnessed. The courtroom was quiet. The defense kept returning to her career, her success, their way of saying, "Look how fine she turned out." One juror said afterward, "They kept talking about her success like that meant she was okay, like money cancels out what happened to her." Another juror, a 45-year-old man, said, "I kept thinking about my wife, my kids. What if it was them in that room?" The hotel had tried to make this case about a celebrity and a large payout. The jury made it about something else entirely. After 7 days of testimony and 7 hours of deliberation, the jury came back unanimous. $55 million. Barrett, 51% liable. The hotel, 49%. When the number was read, the jurors took photos with Andrews. They asked for her autograph. The people who had spent a week hearing every detail of what she'd been through wanted to be near her when it was over. The hotel later reached a confidential settlement. The exact amount was never disclosed. After the verdict, hotel chains across America rewrote their guest privacy procedures. Front desk staff were retrained on what information can and cannot be shared. Several states introduced new legislation targeting hidden recording and stalking. One lawsuit changed policy for millions of hotel guests who will never know her name. The hotel's argument was that they didn't film her, didn't post the video, and therefore weren't responsible. The jury saw it differently. When you confirm a guest's location to a stranger, when you put a stalker in the room next door, when you fail the most basic duty of care, you are responsible. Not for the crime, for the door you left open. Andrews didn't go away. She didn't stay quiet. She sat in a courtroom and told 12 strangers exactly what had been taken from her, and they believed her.